Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Thick and Butter podcast. My name is Alex,
I'm Jesse.
aka Thicc.
And your friend Butter.
This is episode
61.
61.
Is that real? Is that
I
right?
don't know. Do you speak Spanish?
No.
Did you ever take Spanish?
Yeah, I took it for like 6 years in middle school.
All right. So
my Spanish teacher.
Let's just forget it.
I wasn't.
Sesenta uno. That's what 61 means in Spanish. And that's what the number of this episode is, 61.
61.
And this is, another video podcast. Hopefully we're going to do this for the foreseeable future. All the podcasts are going to be video. But if you want an audio portion of this podcast, just look in the description. Link to iTunes, link to Spotify. If you want to follow us on Instagram, also, that is also the link in the bio. Link in the description. Woo!
We gotta get our lingo all straight.
Also, our personal, social media is in the description too. If you want to give that a try, just give it a whirl. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good.
Butter?
I'm doing pretty good. I had something interesting happen to me today.
Oh yeah, you're starting to get into it when I told you.
Yeah.
Well,
how are you? Before I start my story, how are you today?
Well, all right. I went for a quick 20-mile run today.
20 mile?
Mm-hmm. Just a quick one, It only took me 45 minutes. It was really just shocking how fast I was running.
You're like Sonic running through. There's just go through, and you're just like a whip where you just run by and you see like a hearing aid interference go by. It's like so wind. They blow off their hats.
I'm more like Amy.
Amy?
Yeah.
Oh, from Sonic.
I was really worried there. I was like, dude, am I friends with
she's
a
pink one.
Who got,
she's the pink one.
Yeah. I think she's a hedgehog.
Yeah, I mean, what else would she be?
Tails isn't a hedgehog.
No, he's a different rodent.
Wait, it's a he?
Is Tails not a he? I always assumed Tails was a he.
I thought she was a lady.
We were just talking about misgendering people. Oh. So now we're misgendering Tails. Leave a comment. What's Tails' gender? I feel like this has been answered before.
Is Knuckles
he's an echidna. No, he's an echidna.
What the fuck is that?
Echidna's like a hedgehog, but they're smaller and they have weird penises. They do.
What do you mean weird genitalia?
This is like a very popular conversation in my high school. Like echidna penises. Is that weird? I thought this was normal. Like talking about Popeye cons or something.
I don't know what an echidna looks like. So
all right.
Really weird. That's a weird conversation to have.
Echidnas are. I'm pretty sure they look like a small little hedgehog, right. And they have. They might have like a snout too. I might be wrong about that. I have to double check that.
Are they in the armadillo family?
I don't know if they're in the armadillo. Do you mean armadillo or do you mean hedgehog?
Hedgehog.
Armadillos might be in that same family or opus or whatever. Are they
rodents? They're rodents, right?
I have no idea. I totally don't trust my science anymore because I was after talking to Eva about this stuff. I realized wow, I'm uneducated. I'm really uneducated.
Your lady friend is a scientist.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. I was upset about it at the time, but it makes me laugh now because we were talking about gorillas and monkeys and stuff.
Dude,
and I was
one of my favorite conversations, man.
And I was like, yeah, so like gorillas and all that stuff, they're all monkeys, right? And she laughed at me. And apparently they're not monkeys. I didn't know this.
Apes, right?
They're apes.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Dude, I love talking about monkeys and gorillas and stuff. Because I feel like they are they're insane.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why I love the Planet of the Apes, all Planet of the Apes, except for the fucking bullshit Tim Burton remake. Fuck that movie. But all the other 8 movies, I'm all in.
Good 8 movies.
I love those movies because I can just see that happening.
Yeah.
Like
the apes taking over.
Well, I know that they're sentient apes.
Yeah.
But like, I just almost like every day or every week, I see some like crazy like monkey. Did you read about the latest monkey thing where they stole? Dude,
on the most recent monkey news?
They fucking stole.
We're Monkey News reporting monkey facts day and night.
Welcome back to Monkey News. No, dude, a group of monkeys stole coronavirus samples.
Whoa.
Dude, they broke into a lab.
I feel like I have heard about this.
Yeah, and then there's another one.
That's literally what Outbreak is. That's what Outbreak, that movie.
Yeah,
it's about a monkey.
I know, that was the craziest thing. Is like
and they had to hunt this monkey.
Yeah, it was like a movie. That's literally a movie. Like,
yeah.
But,
Fugitive monkeys.
And then there's another thing, a popular monkey video that I saw of the spider monkey. Dude, if you see a spider monkey, you gotta run. Dude, spider monkeys will fuck you up. Dude, shit you not, I wish that we could I could pull up the video right now. We can figure that out somehow. But
that's the next one. We'll figure out how to do that. We just got this down.
Dude, it's a monkey. I'm not kidding. It's riding a motorcycle.
Yeah.
And it jumps off the motorcycle. Like, it's in an alleyway. And it, speeds into the alleyway. And this little, toddler is sitting there. And he jumps off the motorcycle and grabs the toddler and starts to, drag her away. And these people, run up, get out of here, you fucking monkey. And
why is it just wait. So there's just a toddler hanging out in an alley? Where's this toddler's mom?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was in a different country.
This monkey ripped this child away from its parents?
Yes.
I can't imagine that.
Everybody was
my child!
Well, no, yeah, dude, it was great, dude. It's insane. You should do, after this podcast, you should do, it went crazy viral.
Wow, that's funny.
Dude,
it's not funny. I'm glad she was okay, right? They saved the kid.
She's fine. Yeah, she's fine.
Not taken to the monkey dens.
She's fine. But everybody was freaking out that this monkey was stealing this baby. I was like, dude, that monkey fucking rode in on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's riding a motorcycle.
Yeah. What? That's pretty. Yeah.
Why is it doing that? and then this other, but obviously the monkey was a pet to this other guy, because the other guy snatched up the monkey and walked away. It's so many layers to that video.
Wow.
Someone owns a monkey as a pet.
Yeah. Where was this? Was this in America, or is this in?
No, not in
I feel like that could happen in India. Maybe
I think
that's
it actually
biased
might
of
have
me.
been India. It was definitely an Asian country for sure.
Asian.
Yeah.
Is India Asia? I feel bad asking that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because because when you think of Asia, you always you think of Asians.
A big country.
Yeah, but it's that whole area is considered.
Yeah,
what's the point? Is it just it turns from Europe to Asia? Why, man, I've gone to school for 4 years and I don't know this.
For 4 years? You gone to school for?
Well, real school, high school and all that stuff. That's fake school. That's getting through puberty. Being monitored while you get through puberty to make sure you don't die.
When you're in elementary school.
Yeah. I had US history, but my European history, that's gone from my brain.
Yeah.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah.
I need to pick up a book about that. I can do that now. I can just read a book about Europe.
Yeah.
Before I forget, and so we can get off this topic of how much I don't know about geography.
Story, I forgot.
Well, my story, and also the cool thing about echidna penises is that they're 5-pronged. I'm not going to show you. I won't show you a picture of an echidna penis, but I will show you a picture of an echidna, which you can't see at all.
No, I can see it.
You can see that.
Oh.
Yeah.
That looks like a porcupine.
Yeah, it's kind of like a porcupine. Can you see that, viewers?
Dude,
I don't know if you can.
That's another animal. What the fuck? You know?
Porcupines are crazy. Focus. Okay, thanks.
There's some crazy animals out there, dude.
I know. You think about that.
What's so crazy about an echidna penis? Is it
Dude,
like,
look up a picture of it. It looks insane.
All right.
It looks crazy.
You'll get my reaction to the echidna penis for the first time.
I'll look at it. I've looked it up a lot because this was popular in my high school. We talked about echidna penises instead of when the Europe and Asian line ends. You know, we don't discuss geography. We talk about echidna penises. That's my education.
Dude, I spelled penis wrong. You want to know how I spelled penis?
How?
I spelled it P-E-N-I-U-S.
Penis.
Penis. Okay. All right. Google images. Oh my god.
I told you.
Dude, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
There's like 4 shafts.
Yeah.
Dude. I don't think we should show the viewers that.
No. You can look it up on your own discretion.
You can look it up.
It looks like a little hand.
Well,
you know, like little.
So, I want to know how these conversations start. yeah, like this. But I want to know how these conversations in middle school started. Were y'all just like drinking your milk?
I'm pretty sure, honestly,
out of your milk cartons?
Well, I'm pretty sure it was in high school because once you get past into high school, you can actually say penis without laughing. Well, you can say it more times without laughing when you get into high school.
And then when you get into high school, you learn about other words for the penis.
Oh yeah,
like
and that's
schlong.
Schlong or dorker.
Or dig-a-rooney or dig-dog.
The ditchery-do. Yeah, but echidna penises. The conversation came up. I'm pretty sure it came up through Sonic because a lot of my friends were.
I mean, how else would it come up?
Yeah, I mean the thing that was cool. I'm pretty sure it's Game Grumps that got it on because there's the Sonic 06 playthrough of Game Grumps. God. They talk about Knuckles being an echidna, and they talked about the penis, and that was so funny to me and my friends that we had more and so whenever you weren't someone who watched Game Grumps, everyone in my friend group would be like, "Oh, you don't know Game Groups?" And we got into the conversation of Sonic. We'd be like, "Oh, we can tell them the penis thing. We can tell them about the echidna thing." All my friends, if I talk to my friends from high school, I'm sure they'll say, "Dude, you're so fucking weird. That never happened." I'm sure all of them would say that.
Oh, what? Really?
They would totally say I'm being crazy.
Like that, you know, like why would you joke about that? Why would you joke about that? We used to talk about echidna penises. What do I benefit from making this crazy story up in my head?
Yeah. What would I? Yeah.
I believe you 100%.
Thank you. I'm pretty sure it happened.
I want to hear the story that you. Were about
it's
to tell.
way less extravagant.
I interrupted you. I apologize.
That's okay. It's okay. The story is way less extravagant than the conversation we just had. It's more educational because I just got COVID tested.
Oh, did you really?
I did, yeah. And
why did you get COVID tested?
Just wanted to do it because I feel like it's a good, responsible thing to do.
You're a good guy.
Yeah.
I respect the hell out of that. I mean,
cool. And I wanted to, and if I'm going to travel, I want to make sure that I'm good and get under my belt.
You know, I gotta do that. Now that you think about it.
And I think we're
going to see each other.
Right.
We're going to actually see each other, which is crazy.
Yeah. And I think that you totally should get yourself checked out. Because the thing that's kept me from it was that it would be a hassle, it wouldn't be easy, or the test would be really unpleasant. It was super, super easy. It felt like it took less than 10 minutes. It took longer to get to the place to get tested than get tested.
That's good to hear.
They don't charge you anything, and all it is that they just stick a long Q-tip up your nose and rub it around, and it feels kind of uncomfortable, and you kind of want to sneeze for a long time after that. Brain. Yeah, not even think. You know, not like that army guy. You know, that big army guy. Not like it wasn't. It's not like that. You're not gonna spasm. Have you seen that video?
Yeah.
That's what kept me from. It looked like he was having a seizure.
Yeah. I laughed pretty hard when I saw that. Not gonna lie.
It's not like that. It's not like that at all.
Yeah.
It's totally. It's just. They just tickle your nose.
So negative.
I don't know yet. I'm gonna have to look at it online.
I'm pretty
That'd
sure
be crazy. It'd be crazy if I went out. Like seriously, it would be Just my fucking luck if I'm positive.
If you were positive for coronavirus, I would be so fucking scared.
Yeah.
Because that means, I mean, you don't really leave your house. Like,
what is that?
My understanding.
Yeah, no, I haven't at all. I've been a hermit about it. I haven't seen anybody in real life besides my mom or my dad, or and they're like staying home too.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I should be negative, but
who knows?
I'm not gonna count my ducks. I'm not gonna count my echidnas yet.
Yeah, but yeah, it's an educational story.
Yeah,
I'm glad that you actually told that, because like, I think a lot of people like the fear of like I know I heard the coronavirus like painful as hell. And I was like, oh man. Well, like the test, not the virus itself.
Yeah.
The virus itself is horrible, but
yeah,
can be. But you know, it's good to hear one of my friends. I think you're my first friend that got corona tested. I think. I might be wrong about that. So don't get too excited.
Oh, don't do it too big in the britches. Yeah. My ego's inflating dramatically.
Yeah, that's cool. When did you do that? Yesterday?
Like just today.
Oh,
like
right
today.
Before.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Like I went, and one of the things that was keeping me from starting the podcast was that I went at 3:30, got tested, and then took my mom's car to the mechanics.
Oh wow, okay. Damn, dude, that's cool, man.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting to think about how this might just be a routine in my life, similar to picking up ibuprofen. Yeah, you just like every month or so, you just get a coronavirus test. Like that's gonna happen. Like I feel like that could happen whenever you go into a doctor's, you just get a coronavirus test real quick.
Yeah.
Just say you got the corona.
You got corona. You got corona. I want there to be more songs.
About COVID? Just songs in general.
There was one song about the lockdown and COVID by Anderson .Paak called Lockdown. Fucking amazing song. Highly recommend it.
When did that come out?
Like literally like last week. Like,
was it a single?
Yeah.
Is it for an album or is it just a random single you put out?
I think it's just a random song.
You just stuck at home and produced something.
Great.
But Anderson .Paak is great. Yeah,
he's
really good.
Phenomenal. Yeah, I don't, you know, I've had a lot of thoughts about the coronavirus and the masks lately. I don't really want to get into it because I think I'll get really heated about it, just what's going on in the country and how fucking...
You're pissed about people not wearing masks, basically?
Yeah. I'm not just pissed about that. I'm pissed about how it's become political and how if you wear a mask, you're making a political statement, which... In my lifetime, that is one of the truly, idiotic things I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
And it's really sad to see it. This is all I'm going to say. It's really sad to see because this is something that everybody is being affected by. Everybody. Literally every race, every gender, every nationality, everything. And America has to be the country to be like a bunch of idiots and just make it a political statement to wear a mask. You're protecting yourself and you're protecting others by wearing a mask.
Yeah.
By not wearing a mask, you're putting others at risk. So, fuck you. If you're not wearing a mask out in public, I don't get it. And also, it's not that hard. It really isn't. They're not asking you to, like, you know, it just baffles my mind. It's just so crazy.
The misunderstanding about it is that there's the thing that's true about masks and them being ineffective is that if you get exposed to something that then, like someone sneezing on you, then a mask might not do that much to keep you safe.
Right.
But if you are wearing a mask and you sneeze, then there is basically no chance that you're going to give it to somebody.
But also, there's also, like, say you're on, like, a plane.
Yeah.
And people breathing will, you know, like, if you breathe, it goes, like, something like 3 or 4 feet or something.
Yeah.
when you're on a plane, it's like this enclosed space. No one has a mask on, and someone has coronavirus. Everybody's gonna get it. I mean, it's just gonna happen. But if everybody's wearing a mask, and no one's like talking on each other, and the risk is so much lower.
Yeah, it's very much. Yeah,
masks are the fucking. You gotta wear a mask. You know, you just got to. And it really isn't that hard. That's all I'm gonna say. Please wear a mask. Please.
Yeah. I second that.
I've gone to too many places recently, just picking up food, picking up like, groceries, and seeing people not wearing masks. And it's fucking. It makes me wanna. I mean, last night I went to Wendy's.
Yeah. Drive-through, or you went inside?
No, I went through the drive-through.
Going inside of Wendy's, that's like a dangerous place.
What? Who am I? No, I was hungry. I was like, I'm gonna get some burger.
A boy gotta eat.
Yeah, exactly. I go, and these fucking people that are working the cashier and getting my food aren't wearing masks. And
my God.
I had a heart attack,
Yeah.
I ate it. Hopefully I don't have coronavirus. Probably don't. But, it's the principle of not wearing a mask that is really the practice of it. I don't care if you don't have COVID. I don't care if you're not sick. The problem is you may be sick and you don't know. That's the fucking problem. And, it really isn't that hard to wear a mask. It really isn't. It really isn't, people.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's uncomfortable, chalk up a couple dollars. Get yourself a fucking fire-ass mask.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there, a lot of manufacturers, that are making comfortable masks for people to wear.
Yeah.
There's also designs. You can make it a fashion statement.
Yeah.
Do you. Create your own. Put a fucking do whatever you have to do.
Yeah, just wear a mask. Just wear a mask.
Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about it. But
I think that's
a lot, because that's something that's going on right now. It's just mind-blowing to me. I mean, it's sad. It's really sad to see.
It's been pissing me off too. It's just been scary. It's just scary.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, let me tell you about another weird thing I did this weekend. To transition out of the responsible state updates about the world. During this time,
it's hard not to talk about it. I'm sorry.
We have to talk about it. It's important, and I think that's an important thing to say to make sure. I don't think we should ever waver on where we stand about that. You know, so let's just make it very clear. It's just wear a fucking mask.
Right.
No exceptions.
Yeah. Just do it, please, for the love of God.
But in the midst of all this, being trapped in my own house, I'm a homebody and I like being at home. And I think under the circumstances, when I move into Boulder with Eva, I will be pretty good set being if I have to quarantine again.
Right.
But it's been pretty lonely. I like being around my mom, but it's lonely not being around my peers. Not being around my girlfriend, not talking to friends. It's hard, and everyone's going through that.
And I think. I've been talking to a couple of my friends recently. I think it's really gotten to them. I think, I've been lucky that I have a couple friends in Swiftly that I've been able to see that are also quarantining. We're all kind of just seeing, each other. The thing is, for me, I think I've said this before, it's the trust in other people,
Yeah,
I trust you. I trust that you didn't go make out with a random stranger on the... or do any of that, you're taking precautions, So I've been lucky on seeing people, but at the same time, it's I miss you guys a lot.
Yeah, I know.
A lot. And so I think we're planning on, going on a trip and seeing each other, and I'm really excited about it. But I hear you, man. I hear you.
It's still just a hard thing, and it's not like it's the nice thing about it now. When we're getting our sea legs about us when it comes to navigating Corona. It's not that you can't do this stuff.
No.
But and that's the thing that's fucked up about people not wearing masks. It's not like you can't do that stuff, but if people do shit like not wear a mask, then we can't do this stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what really sucks and starts to get pissed about it, because it's just dude, when you talk to people, just don't shake their hands. Don't breathe on them. Keep your hands to yourself.
Yeah.
Keep your spit to yourself.
Right.
Just chill out and be cool.
Yeah.
So
Be cool.
again, be cool. And the whole and also, in addition to the crisis, when I have periods of time where I sit with my own head processing. I go to crazy places, not like depressing places, but my brain, just when it has free real estate, when I'm not actively moving, it like goes into hyper existential. So I had this experience where I've been going through, usually it's on the weekends. It's on the weekends, like Saturday during lunchtime. The last 2 weekends, I've been like, oh my God. And I've been having to go through this existential drudgery.
I think a lot of people are doing that.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing about it is that
people our age.
Yeah, and I've been lucky that I feel very glad that every time I felt like that, I've come out on the other side. It might be all weekend, but at the end of Sunday, I've had an experience where I've been like, holy shit, I feel like I've grown a little bit as a person, which is a weird thing to be all by myself having these existential shit happening to me. And then I'm on the other side. It's just like, I learned something from that.
Yeah.
So recently, I had this really interesting experience, and I'm curious to see how crazy you think this is. Or if you think it's cool, I'm interested to see how you respond to this. But I did a thing I've never did before where, I have done this before. I decided it's like, you know what? I'm really in my head. I don't really feel like doing much at all. But I feel like I have thoughts I want to talk about, and I don't really feel like writing them down or journaling or something. So I'm going to sit outside in this beautiful summer weather, and I'm going to turn on my voice memos app, and I'm just going to talk at my phone.
Not weird at all. Not weird at all.
But dude, I talked at my phone for an hour and a half.
Not weird at all.
But that's
you know how people talk to themselves?
Yeah.
I talk to myself all the time. There's
no
difference
what do you
to
like?
that.
How do you mean talk to yourself? Do you mean like?
I like literally like. Sometimes,
do you have like full conversations with yourself, or do you like just like?
Well, not like full.
Like, well, I mean,
not like full on. Like, how are you today? Oh, I feel all right. No, like not like that. But I mean, like when I.
Go ahead.
When I, what'd you say? Good duck scare. No, when I like whenever I have something on my mind, it just feels better to like say it out loud. Feels better to like get it out.
Absolutely.
Because I feel like even to yourself, because sometimes like when you hear yourself say something, you know, sometimes this happens just like not just with personal stuff, but with ideas. Sometimes you'll have like an idea for a film or something like, oh, dude, that is the best thing I have ever come up with in my life. And then you talk to someone and you say it out loud, you're like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah.
You don't know. It's like the same thing. Sometimes it's weird. I don't really know what that is. Like, it's a weird part of.
That's.
I don't know. I think you just say it out loud. It's cathartic.
I think you're keying in on exactly the point.
So many people do that, dude.
Yeah.
Like, that is not weird at all. Like,
what surprised me was just how much I had in my head where I could talk to myself. Because I looked at that, it's just like, I literally talked to myself in front of my house for the length that we do a podcast.
Right. Did you...
non-stop. For an hour and a half.
Did you get things out of that? Did you like...
Yes, dude. It was like a therapy session. And
awesome.
just and in a lot of ways, it's just like, dude, I need to do this when I get stressed like this because it's really important to talk to other people. But sometimes when you have thoughts in your head, and just I had the experience exactly what you're saying. Because the thing about when you have a stressful thought in your head, when you say it, it's like, this isn't even my thought anymore. It's gone. It's like you vomit it up and it's not there, and it just like totally changes.
It's like you put it out in the world. Like it's out there.
And it's not your burden anymore.
No one heard it, you know.
Yeah.
But when you record it, I think that's one of the reasons why I love doing this podcast too. Is like,
me too.
You know, because it's like a stream of consciousness kind of thing. And, you know, it's not a lot of, you know, like we're able to do this, which is a cool thing. Like that we're able to sit in front of a mic and have a conversation, you know, and record it. And so if you're down or, you know, just as simple as, what was my opinion about Candyman?
Yeah.
You know, 5 years ago, I can pull this up, and I can be like, oh, here's what my opinion about it. Like, you know, so it's interesting. It's an interesting idea of, like, recording your thoughts. I don't really think that's weird.
Yeah.
Even in the slightest. And if someone does think that's weird, what the fuck? Anyway.
I think that it might not be normal to do something like that, but I think that's something I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that like all the time now.
What do you think diaries
Exactly. Yeah, and it's sort of like just a modern diary.
It's like a word vomit on with your voice.
Yeah.
It's no different than writing it.
Yeah, that's super true. And I think that what just surprised me was like the thing that came from me after I saw that I've been talking for an hour and a half is like I really needed to do this. I really had a lot of stuff that I needed to talk about.
Yeah. Awesome.
So if you're anxious about that, if you're like me, you're kind of anxious and self-conscious about doing something weird like that, just try it.
Just do it, man.
See if it makes you feel better. If it doesn't, never do it again.
I totally agree, man. Just try it, man. Just try. If you want... never mind.
Just try.
Such a bad thought. Anyway, but I totally agree with that. You know, maybe I'd like to start doing that.
Yeah.
But
and it's a new dimension. Also, last thing we can talk about Candyman, because when you record it, which I think what you were getting out with when you were just saying this about the podcast, is that it's important to say your thoughts out because it changes how you experience them because you get more removed from it. But then when you record it and you can return to it later, that's another really important thing.
In a different headspace, in a different,
It's like when you're writing a script, one of the crucial parts of writing a script or doing anything artistic or maybe even anything at all is that you leave it and come back to it at a different time.
Yeah.
Because there's so many times where I write some music or I write like a line in my script and I'm like, this is literally the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I come back to it and it's like, whoa. This is really cool. I find this really inspiring. And then you work on it until it's the stupidest thing you've ever seen in your life.
Right, exactly. Right. Yeah. So, after that was glad that we had those conversations. Because those are things that have been on my mind in this crazy motherfucking world that we live in, man.
Yeah.
It's just changing in front of us, man. It's just changing, you know?
Changing.
It's an exciting part, but it's also a scary part. Change is scary.
Yeah.
But
change is fucking scary.
So let's talk about a movie. Let's talk about a movie that you recommended. And this is on my list, actually, too. That this is a movie that I've always wanted to watch.
I always wanted to watch this.
So do you want to describe what this movie is? Because it was your choice.
Yeah.
This week.
So Candyman is the epitome of...
Candyman.
Candyman is the epitome of a cult film, I would say.
Yeah.
It follows the story of a journalist who's in college trying to write her grad student, and she's trying to write her thesis with her friend, and she's interested in urban legends, and
folklore,
she starts to folklore, and she starts investigating this legend where they're in urban Chicago, in the projects. There is this mythos about this figure, Candyman, who will come and murder you. I'm not sure if you do something. I'm not sure what motivates it, the murdering, but like it's a type of boogeyman.
If you say his name 5 times in the mirror.
Yeah. I feel like there was something like an aspect of punishment of character.
It's really... I thought when it was happening, I was like, that is really cool, but I can't remember exactly what the myth... You're right. I can't remember the exact reason why he does it.
Yeah.
But I remember that scene was really, really cool.
Which I think is that's kind of the point of it. It's not like Michael or who is like, I don't like sex and I'm envious of my girlfriend and I'm crazy. It's like the Candyman's like a bigger mythical figure.
Yeah.
And it's basically
folklore. It's like folklore coming true.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And in a slasher movie context.
Or something like that.
Vampire. And it's about her investigation into it, and the significant thing, the reason why this movie was exploded is the Candyman is played by it features a lot. It's a story that's empathetic towards poor black people.
Yes,
and the Candyman,
the
Candyman is a black boogeyman, and he's the black villain. So there's a lot of just black African American culture representation and sympathizing with poor people. That's very
really
advanced
and
progressive for 1992.
Very, yes. Yeah. I think you just described one of my favorite things about this movie. I really thought that made this movie stand out amongst a lot of. Before I get into what I thought of this movie, just if I liked it or not, would you call this, because I don't want to compare it to things that it's not the same subgenre of horror. Would you describe this as a slasher movie?
I know it's described as a slasher movie.
It is described as a slasher movie. Because, I'm kind of hesitant to call it a slasher movie, I'll be honest.
I think that it's very it's atypical if we were to call it a slasher movie. I don't think it's wrong to call it a slasher movie because I think it fits relatively into the time period of slasher movies. And its form, although atypical, I think it's closest to a slasher movie versus anything else.
It's kind of close to a psychological thriller.
Sure.
There's a connection to this podcast and the Candyman because this movie is based on a book written by Clive Barker.
Oh, yeah.
And we reviewed Hellraiser on this podcast.
Yeah.
And this movie weirdly has some similarities to Hellraiser, I found. You feel Clive Barker. You can kind of feel his kind of stamp on the movie. Yeah. And that's what I kind of wanted to ask because I wouldn't call Hellraiser a slasher. No, I feel like they're kind of similar movies in that way because they're about these mythical figures that turn out to be kind of true. And they murder people. But, it's kind of more of a deep rooted. There's more going on than just a guy killing people, you know?
Yeah, it's like Clive Barker writes in the what's his name?
Characters a lot. He's more interested in telling character pieces because even in this movie, while I don't think this is as good as Hellraiser, I think that there's deeper themes woven out for this movie than just watching people get killed. You know?
What's the Lovecraftian? That's what I'm thinking about. Clive Barker writes in a very Lovecraftian type of genre, so it's not just the physical threat of a murderer who might have supernatural powers, but it's still in the physical. It's really working where a lot of the themes and the real threat is happening more psychologically than a physical. And that's what the horror of this movie, similar to Hellraiser's, it's not so much how horrifying, like with Michael, what's horrifying is what he does. It's it's the mental torture and identity crisis that ensues from his work. And I think you're right. I think that's a very Clive Barker thing.
Right. I thought this movie was pretty cool.
I did too.
I enjoyed this movie. It's cool because the first thing I wrote down was this turned into a franchise. I think there's two more.
I think there's three. I think there's three. Yeah. At least three. Going to be four.
We don't know about these horror franchises, man.
We don't like horror very much. We don't research it much.
Yeah. We love it. They're also remaking this movie. The remake comes out in September, but
Yeah, but no movies. There's the future of all movies is very unsure.
Yeah, I mean it will come out at some point, but
even if it is on demand.
Yeah. And I thought this movie was really fun and really good. But I also was gonna say about the fact that it's a franchise movie is you can tell all these franchise movies, all the slashers, all these things that the slasher is an amazing character, and the Candyman is a fucking awesome. I like the first half of this movie. I thought was kind of okay. It was kind of like a setup, and it was kind of this is the project stuff and learning about the Candyman, the myth through these poor African Americans that live in the projects in Chicago was really interesting to me. But everything else, I was kind of okay, this is kind of generic and a setup.
Yeah,
but halfway through the movie, when they introduce, when Tony Khan, who plays the Candyman,
Yeah.
shows up, I was like, I'm in. You know, I immediately wrote, like, this is fucking awesome. Like, his performance in this movie is so
incredible.
good, man. It
And you
reminded
might
me of, like an iconic performance, like a Freddy. Like a
Yeah,
Robert,
totally.
like a Robert Englund as Freddy.
His
Nightmare on
first
Elm Street.
lines were iconic to me. Like
Oh,
this is like that's like yeah, this
dude.
is a memorable fucking
Dude.
character.
And also like everything around like the Canada, how he like bees or like he like
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
gets stung by bees and like bees come out of his mouth and he has a hook for a hand that's on his bloody skunk and he has this
Yeah.
awesome like trench coat. He's just an iconic character. Like you look at him and you're like, that's an icon right there,
Yeah,
Um
totally.
and
Totally.
like that's why I'm like after I saw this movie, like how the fuck are we gonna remake this movie?
Yeah.
Because
Oh, interesting.
Tony Khan is the Candyman. Like I can't see like
I think
anybody else.
I think he might be the Candyman. I think they might have
Really,
casted him. I looked into that.
is phenomenal.
I'm
Because
pretty
you can't.
sure he's reprising his role.
Because even like I haven't even seen the sequels, but I know that like his voice
I
is
know.
like
I
it's
know.
butter. It's
Yeah.
like it's so
And you might
fucking
recognize his
awesome.
voice from Transformers because he plays the Fallen. The Fallen. I think he voices the Fallen.
Okay, I don't know anything about
I just was
Transformers.
reading his Wikipedia page
Like
and I saw that.
the Michael Bay
Yeah,
Transformers. Okay.
because his voice sounds like a goddamn Mack truck.
I totally believe that. Absolutely. If I was casting,
Yeah.
a Transformer with that guy.
And he's just a guy who just works on everything. It looks like he just any
Yeah,
role
it's
that goes
just
his
like,
way, he does it.
Yeah. So he is phenomenal. in this movie.
Phenomenal.
He is my favorite part of this movie, hands down.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but what I was saying was like, yeah, it has like this iconic character that makes sense that this became like a franchise, and it makes sense that it became this like thing because of this iconic character. But it also reminded me of like things like Child's Play and like all these first movies in a franchise that are genuinely really good. Like, I mean, really well written, and there's something interesting to them.
Yeah.
And then I haven't seen the sequels, but I would think that it
Yeah.
kind of devolves into.
Yeah.
Like same with Hellraiser. Hellraiser is a super interesting movie,
but it goes off the deep end so
right,
quickly.
And, so like I was what the fuck? I was surprised.
You did what I did. That's what I do.
Porky Pig. But I was surprised because I didn't know that this was a franchise. Like I was just like, oh, this is probably like a one-off. But after I watched it and saw that there were different sequels, I put two and two together. I was like, oh, okay. Like I see like what this kind of is now.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, the first half of this movie I thought was kind of like slow. It was like set up. But when Candyman possesses Helen, basically, and it turns out that he makes Helen kill like the baby, and or not kill the baby, but kill
do crazy
mother.
shit. Yeah.
Crazy. Like that is when I got really on board, and that's when I liked Helen a lot more because I liked a character who was against her will, had nothing. She couldn't do anything, and her trying to convince people in her life that she's not crazy, and that was riveting to me. That was like that got me on board, and I really did enjoy the second half of this movie a lot. But what did you think of this?
Man, that's a pretty good. I agree with most of your big points about that. I think the overarching thing is that I really like this movie, but I definitely didn't like it as much. It's not one of my favorite horror movies.
No.
But it has like the Candyman's one of the coolest characters, definitely.
Awesome.
But I think the biggest thing is definitely that first half. That was just, it wasn't poorly done.
No.
It just wasn't really what I was interested in. And the thing I like about it was how long they waited to switch to the supernatural Candyman elements. And I think that waiting that switch to totally, because it turned from Helen being a logical character to the whole world shifting. The second half is so different from the first half.
Yeah.
So I like the second half because of how much it contrasts.
Right.
But I wish like the first half of it makes it so I don't really feel like I want to rewatch
the first
this movie.
half kind of reminds me of like a slasher in a way.
Yeah.
Like it's setting up to be like a slasher, and then like it kind of turns into this like psychological thriller,
which I think is cool. I think that's really
cool.
interesting. Yeah. But I think it's definitely, it's the more I think if I were to watch this again, I think I would feel like it's a bit of a slog to get through that.
Yeah, I could totally see that too.
The thing I also really, really want to commend about this movie, especially when this is such an early movie dealing with psychological issues, you know, where it's a temptation to most amateur, I shouldn't say amateur, because I'm not a professional, so I don't know what an amateur is. Most shitty writing, shit that I don't like, is when people write about these mental or psychological things, and it's all about, it's not in their head, and they go back to defining what the reality actually is.
Sure.
This movie never really ever admitted to saying what was real and what was not real, because we have evidence, because it's like you could say that Helen killed everybody, but we have evidence that the Candyman was a real physical being. So was Helen crazy? Or is she part of this mythos now that is actually happening?
And I think the ending of it kind of like highlights that a little bit.
Yeah.
And she becomes this mythical figure almost.
Yeah. And I think that's some really, it takes, which I think that's something.
It's smart writing.
Yeah, smart writing. And I think that's something that, I have a theory that I think that film is still young. So that it doesn't quite, when you're just writing for film, or people just writing for film don't quite know how to walk that ambiguity line. But people like Clive Barker, who are also authors, are more comfortable, since writing just a pure narrative is is an ancient form of writing a story, that they can get these complexities and they know how to translate that. And when you have a source material, like, I think that's why a lot of Kubrick's stories are so interesting, because he picks it from source material that is so rich in its subtleties. And that's really when films really activate as good films, is when it's not just about showing things that happen, it's about presenting these cool ideas and the subtleties and the experience of watching it happen. And I think this film does a really cool job of this concept and showing it. But I just wish there was more of it, because I wish there was more Candyman.
Yeah, that was one thing. I was like, I want more Candyman. But I can also watch the sequels.
Sure.
So I think a lot of people thought that.
Yeah.
You know, because if you watch like something like Nightmare on Elm Street, you know, it's one of my favorite horror movies. I would love to review that movie sometime.
Yeah, that'd be fun. This October, maybe.
Yeah, we'll do that for October.
Watch all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies.
Wow, that would be a crazy. Wow. But you know, Freddy like isn't in that movie that much. You know.
Sure.
Like all these slasher movies, all these like horror franchises have this character that is so iconic, and then we're like, well, we gotta put him in more movies. And, have him more because people love him so much. But I think it's a really interesting thing that you said. About how like interesting the script is, and how like it deals with it really is cinematic, like it really is, because it deals with the ambiguity so well. And I also think this movie is really pretty well directed. There's some really cool, especially in the second half, there's some really cool editing and cool visuals going on in this movie that kind of adds to this like underlying dread and ambiguity. There were a couple scenes in this movie that I was genuinely disturbed and freaked out. And, you know, that's pretty hard to do for me, you know, and probably you too, considering how many of these movies that we've seen, you know, and just like some of the crosses songs with like his lair and like the bees and the score.
The score was great. I really liked the music.
Dude, the choir and stuff like made it feel so epic and so like this more like this larger than life.
I really see where Us got its inspiration now.
You know what's funny is I was thinking about that. I was like, man, I can see why Jordan Peele. I bet Jordan Peele loves this movie.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean he's producing the remake of it.
Yeah. So apparently he does love it. So Apparently, I read it's not a remake too. It's a sequel to
Oh,
this
that's pretty
movie.
cool. That's pretty cool.
It's like they're doing the Halloween thing. They're
Yeah.
doing the
Yeah.
fuck the other movies. This
Which
is the real sequel.
honestly, I support that.
Sure.
I think I do. I support that. Depending on how good it is. I might not support it once I see it, but
let's see what my notes. I wanted to talk about this one part.
Okay.
That made me laugh really hard.
Okay.
And I think I Snapchatted it to you.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
What was that scene? You sent it to me. It's like, this is like the most 1990s thing ever, right?
Dude, I laughed so hard. Before I say it, there's some language in this part. And there's some language like in this movie that might not be, in your opinion, might not be acceptable today.
Yeah.
So, the character Jake, the little boy who lives in who like talks to Helen about.
Yeah. Yeah, it helps him out.
They go to like that outhouse or whatever. And he's like, yeah, the Candyman's in there. And he's like, oh yeah, he killed, this kid.
Yeah. Oh. I don't remember what he said, but I remember it not being appropriate.
I don't know. When I watched it, I was like, I don't know if this is supposed to be funny or not.
Yeah.
But, oh my god.
What does he say?
I can't remember the exact, context of it.
Yeah.
But, she asks him something like, oh, was he, stupid, or was he, and he goes, no, a retard. Oh,
definitely the 90s.
Sorry. Just the way he said it.
Yeah.
No, a retard. Oh, dude, yeah, that made me laugh so hard.
That was a good moment.
But so, yeah, there's some, really 90s shit in this movie that definitely came out in the 90s.
Yeah.
This is the clothes and, the way that, some of the... Sorry. Oh, I haven't laughed that hard in a while. But yeah, I just wanted to share that moment. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't the only one that thought that was funny.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was really funny.
Yeah, there was, honestly, besides moments like that, that kid was pretty funny, although he was a good actor.
Yeah.
This movie, based on a lot of other movies that are its contemporaries, it actually is, I would say it's not as, ridiculously out of touch as a lot of these other movies seem out now. Yeah, because that stands out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, that kind of made me laugh about it, because it was like, oh wow, this is really progressive, and it's like, no, retard. What the fuck? But it was so weird. Maybe it was supposed to be funny. I really don't know. I really just don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the scene that scared you? I'm curious.
I'll tell you what scared me. When Helen was, when she gets bailed out of prison by Trevor, fuck Trevor.
Yeah.
That fucking...
Trevor's the husband.
Banging Stacy.
Yeah, fuck Trevor. He's in Walking Dead. I
is he
realized
really?
that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's in Walking Dead. He gets killed. Spoilers.
Yeah, killed.
Yeah.
But the scene where she is in the insane asylum and she's tied to the bed and the Candyman's floating over her.
Yeah.
And, that was a really cool effect. And then he's I can't remember his lines exactly, but they're all
Yeah.
so awesome. Like, they're so menacing, and like,
Yeah.
his voice is just so awesome. That kind of got me off guard. And the jump scares actually got me. Like,
Yeah.
there's one where the hook comes out of the window.
Yeah, that got me.
I
I
didn't
was
expect
embarrassed.
that. Yeah, me too. I was like, God damn it. Dude, when jump scares get me in movies, I feel like I have I ever told you about the story of
You got to tell this again. You got to tell this again. I love this story.
Yeah, dude, I hate the story, but so I was like 13, mind you. I was like 13, 14 years old. And I was seeing the Hunger Games.
The Hunger Games.
The Hunger Games. Don't underline that. Don't underline that. Yeah, so seeing the Hunger Games. If you guys have seen the Hunger Games, there's a part where Candace and Tina, yes, I remember their names,
Iconic.
go, they're like in the forest and it's night. There's like these, like these wolf creatures that are like stalking them at night. And it's kind of, it's a tense scene. Probably not now, but for 14-year-old Alex, it was like...
First time watching it in a theater experience,
totally,
just to give you some credit.
Okay, so packed house. This is like opening night, I think. I love the books growing up. So like, I went with my friends, and a jump scare happens where this creature like jumps out of the forest, and I'm not kidding you. I literally went like in the theater, and like my friends obviously just started dying laughing, and so I was so embarrassed. Like I almost like got up and left.
Yeah. I find that so funny because you're not the guy to do that. You know,
Dude, that's the funny thing. I've never we've seen horror movies in theaters, and like I've never like been like wow.
Yeah.
Like, I've never like even when we walked at home, you know.
Yeah. I gotta accept that I am like that. I am the person who will jump at the jump scares, and I will do it at really stupid shit. I'll jump at it, and so I just have to accept my my fucking.
Dude, that's what you're supposed to do. Yeah.
But sometimes you're mad, you know, because in that situation, I'm sure what you were mad about is just like, man, that was. I was just minding my own business, watching a movie. They play a loud sound. There's a scared dog that jumps at my face. Why would they do that?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to have a good time.
That's like, I think that's just the deep-rooted thing of why people don't like horror movies. You know? It's like jump scares, they're trying to get you off guard, and they're trying to, and so like people don't like that. You know what I mean? Like people like there's like another one. Are there movies that you've seen multiple times where the same jump scare still gets you? Like, dude,
I can't. I'm pretty much. I feel like I watch movies with my guts. So most times when I watch it, I'm just totally part of that human experience where I react to it. And I just
that is what you want. You're the ideal audience.
Yeah, it kind of sucks at sometimes because I wish I could think about it and be like, because there's so many times where I think about it and then it's like, okay, this is coming up. It's coming up soon.
Right.
And I think about it, and then I get distracted. It's like, that's a beautiful shot. Ah!
That's the anticipation of it. Like, dude, so there's a Jurassic Park. Like one of my favorite, it's fucking Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
And there's a jump scare in that movie. I've seen it like...
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
I don't know how many times I've fucking seen Jurassic Park. It's that scene where Laura Dern is in the generator room.
I know exactly what you're
talking about.
talking
She turns on the lights and she backs up and the raptor just fucking pops out of the wall. Every time.
Yeah.
It gets me. Because it's... Spielberg timed it so well. Because it's not... It doesn't happen the moment you think it's gonna happen. It happens like a moment after. So
see, that like one's that one's so fucked up because it does a double whammy. That's really really aggressive. Because she leans up to the wall and it's the hand of Samuel L. Jackson, which that really scared the fuck out of me as a kid. And that was like one of the most horrifying images as a kid. And then the raptor pops out. It gets you where you're at your peak after you're scared of the hand and you're coming down. You're like, I'm done screaming, and you're kind of settling back into safety, and the raptor pops out. And then you're just turn off the movie. I can't stop.
Turn it off. Yeah. Oh yeah, but
That's a good one.
I love. You know, I'm not someone who hates youngsters though. I hate cheap ones. I don't like ones that aren't real. Like the ones that are just like loud, like in shitty horror movies, like you just see like a loud boom and like a fucking cat jumps out of the window or something. It's like, come on.
I love it. I love it when you're watching a good movie and you get a good jump scare because it puts you in the motion you're supposed to be in. And you're like, all right, the adrenaline pushing and we're in the race and I feel like I'm running too. But when you're watching something stupid where there's like some white trash asshole who's just like, and then something screams and then the guy's like, oh wow, that was spooky, and then they go up out there. It's stupid. Right. I hate it. I hate stuff like that.
I can't go see horror movies in theaters anymore. I can't do it.
Yeah.
The last, big horror movie. Like, I don't go see, I saw The Conjuring 2 in theaters. It's a really good movie. Like, that's like the last, I call those kind of horror movies, like, funhouse horror movies, where it's like, every corner is like a jump scare, and, you don't really know, they're not very, atmospheric. It's not, Hereditary.
Sure.
Well, I love those movies. I love a good funhouse, horror movie where I go in and, but the audiences, man, that I go see horror movies are just fucking the worst. Like they scream at the cock, when you're scared, you're like, go in there, bitch, go in there. It's like, dude, shut up, man. Like, oh my god, I'm trying to enjoy the atmosphere of this movie that.
Yeah.
I hate it. I can't. It's happened to me so many times in horror movies, and I don't go see horror movies in theaters anymore.
Yeah, I had that experience with Hereditary where I had a really unfortunate. Which, if I was seeing a movie for a second time, that would be fun. I think that I would have a good time doing something where it's more participatory.
I agree.
But when I'm watching, especially a movie like Hereditary, where it's like, I'm trying to focus.
And I'm not opposed to participatory things.
No.
These people don't know how to do it though. I've gone to film festivals. I've gone to a few film festivals.
Sure, yeah.
And those audiences are very participatory, and I know how to do it.
It's different when you're participating with it versus when you're trying to avoid it, which is what those horror movies are trying. Like the people in my Hereditary experience, it was that people were trying to distance themselves from the experience of the movie, trying to say it's like that was so disturbing, and say that was really stupid. That's the goal, and that's
also,
not participating.
The idea of talking in the theater, it's just why are you even talking? Just out loud anyway.
Yeah.
Back to Candyman.
Yeah. I have a point as we were talking throughout that digression. Something occurred to me that I think is really cool about this. That in film, I think you can break down to a couple of things that you have to get really good. Audio, something that you just have to work on. That's a separate beast. So I'm not going to talk about that. But audio was great in this film because the music was great and sound design was great. I didn't necessarily notice anything acceptable. It doesn't matter. It's not what I want to talk about. But the other things about film that's supposed to be that really makes it work is that you have a good story, obviously, good characters, and another thing is good settings and good environments. And I think this movie had really good environments. And one of my favorite things about this was that in addition to having it where there's a whole aspect of Helen being possessed by the handyman, because after the first encounter, because the twist of this story is that Helen's investigating the Candyman, and then she encounters him, and then she starts being in these situations where people are dying, and the police start thinking she's the one committing the murder, and the Candyman's framing her to be the one who's killing everybody. And the really interesting thing is that when we have this experience where the Candyman's merging with Helen, there's also this theme where there's the abandoned space where she first goes to investigate it, and you have that great shot of the graffiti painting where she's in the mouth.
Oh yeah.
You see, that shot represents the whole movie. And there's a whole aspect where in her apartment. She has her bathroom window goes into an empty space, which turns into all that space also is an extension of the Candyman herself, which that's really great themes to play with.
Cool.
Where
and also it kind of connects to there's this weird romantic
that's the interesting
Phantom
thing
of the Opera
Yes.
Esque kind of like thing about the Candyman and Helen's relationship, which is like really, really cool.
And I think that's a bigger theme. I wish that movie is, if I didn't, I like that was something introduced at the end, but I only liked it as an idea, not necessarily how it was executed.
It's not a very like fleshed out like idea.
I wish that theme was more developed from the beginning, which they hinted at. They gave the origin story that there was, the origin story was that this man, the Candyman, was his grandfather was a slave, so everyone was still super racist, and he had a relationship with a white woman, and they basically they murdered him brutally. So he's a vengeful spirit, and and the idea in the end is that Helen sort of is this revival of the Dracula, bride, right?
Which is great.
It's interesting, really and cool. I just wish that Helen was more that character, because she wasn't really that character.
Yeah, it was kind of like, I guess it like just grabbed me so much that I was like,
I agree.
Well,
yeah, me too.
Was really cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like a cool movie, man. Like,
it's cool.
I was impressed by this movie, and like I was kind of, usually like cult movies like this don't disappoint me because. Usually cult movies have something about it that is interesting, that is different. And this movie is like, it operates in the slasher, like, psychological thriller kind of realm of a horror movie, but it has interesting themes and a new kind of villain in the Candyman that is so awesome that you just want to see more of it. You just do,
Yeah, absolutely.
And like we were saying though, like the story is deeper than your average kind of like movie like this, And so I really like this movie. I think
I totally
think that all what you're saying kind of comes from the second half of the movie.
Absolutely,
you know what
absolutely.
I mean? Like the first half is it's a lot of setup.
Yeah, and that's when the stuff, and I think that the first half is really well done. It's a really it's like, it moves, it feels, it's like, this makes sense, the characters are logical, the characters feel fleshed out, but it's just not really, and I think that's what the big problem with this movie is. I love the actress who played Helen, and I actually liked her character. She was really interesting. But I think the biggest thing was that I just really didn't have a lot of sympathy for her, because she was this super white bourgeoisie character.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's probably why.
and it's like I'm all for a story about deconstructing that life, but that wasn't really the themes that was going into it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I just didn't really have much sympathy for her.
And then also, like...
Not like the horrors that she was going through. I was sympathetic to her, and I was rooting for her to be like, oh my god, everyone's against her. It was just that, like, this is not a person I really like.
Do you think that, like, we, like, added, like, that is because of her relationship with, like, Trevor? And, like...
Yeah.
That whole thing of it? Because... That to me, I was like, why are you with this fucking guy?
Yeah.
But like sometimes I was just like, I like how smart Helen was. Like,
me too. I loved that.
She was like, when
so
she
smart.
escaped the insane asylum, like, I thought how she did that was like fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, kidnapped the nurse's outfit, went outside, and
it was awesome.
That was cool. I love when my characters in horror films are not dummies.
She reminds me of Jodie Foster in Silence of the Lambs. She's that kind of smart.
Oh my god, that's a great call. She. I wouldn't be surprised if Clarice was a major influence.
Inspiration. Yeah.
and her performance and just the character herself. But
yeah.
I mean, I kind of agree with you. I don't really know what else, like. I agree with you. I don't really like care that much, like how cyclically horror.
Yeah.
I don't know why though.
I know it's a weird thing. It's a really weird thing.
And, like she's I like her. I cared for her, but I just didn't really like. I think it was just because I was just like, why are you with this like obvious scumbag?
I wish. I really wish that was something that I could have gone with Trevor not being in the movie. I think that was really not that significant of a whole thing. That would take up the screen time. That could have been more of her experience with the Candyman.
I was interested in the marital aspect of it.
Yeah.
Just because I was thinking of Hellraiser and how like Hellraiser is kind of this clearly about a dysfunctional marriage at the end
Yeah.
of the day.
But like
And so,
you see like this whole thing where it's the thing that doesn't work about this marriage that's dysfunctional that does work in Hellraiser is that you see that relationship of the dysfunctional marriage.
We don't really see the relationship.
And the wife in the Hellraiser is such an interesting character because of her obsession and her transformation. But for Helen's character in this film, it's like she doesn't even realize that something's wrong. But it's so obvious that something's wrong.
Big boy gang here.
Hey.
Continue. I apologize.
Yeah. Just I think that it's sort of a it's like a superficial theme.
Yeah.
Doesn't really turn out
as deep.
And I felt like it was kept in there just to have the ending, which is cool. Yeah. But like you could have done that with anybody.
I do agree with that. I do. I like to see that she returns there.
Yeah.
From the state asylum for like a month.
Yeah.
And like I like that scene a lot. Like it was super riveting, and I just like seeing Helen be like,
yeah,
fuck you, like just giving up on her. And I like the torment that it had on him at the end of the movie. I just think it would have been way more impactful, like we were saying, if they kind of like developed that dysfunction, earlier in the film.
And
because we didn't really see them be a couple.
Yeah. And I think that was a weakness in it. I also think I would really love to talk to someone who knows about race studies more, or black studies, talk about that and see what the impact of this and the problematic aspects of it.
Right.
Because I wonder about her character, because she is the only character who has sympathy and seems to even consider black people to be humans as well. But she's still so white. Like white in her goals. You have moments like that where she has a great line where she was saying, man, that woman in there was calling the police about someone being murdered, and one white woman goes in there and they take care of it immediately. It's just like, that was a great line. That was a great line. It was very satisfying and important to hear that. But I still feel like maybe it's just me, but that she wasn't authentically like she still felt like she was a part of the establishment to me.
Sure. And I definitely agree with that. Well, I think this was a stepping stone.
Stone, yeah.
I think this was it's cool to that theme of what you're saying in this movie, that is what is most talked about kind of in the horror realm of this movie. And that's probably why Jordan Peele wanted to, who knows? I would love to, maybe when Jordan Peele goes press for this remake, if he goes, and he has interviews about why he wanted to. Maybe I'll learn something about it. Maybe I'll read up on why he wanted to remake this movie. If there was something that he feels strongly about that was in the first Candyman and he wanted to develop it more, because I think the main character in the remake is black. So I think he wanted to. I don't know. I'm curious, but I definitely agree with that.
Yeah,
and I think he articulated it better than I could have, because I was watching it. I was like, I feel weird about this character, but I don't really know why. But I think he articulated it perfectly. So
I'm gonna keep my ear out and see if there's any reading about that people can talk more about it. And
I bet there's a lot of stuff on this movie.
The thing, I'm really excited about the remake, because I think that there is, since this has so much depth in just the second half of it, I think that there's a lot more that you can write about. It's all about what the story's going to be. Are they going to have an interesting story that's not just the same thing? And the thing that intrigues me is that is his name Lakeith Stanfield? Is that the Sorry to Bother You guy? Is that his first name? I'm pretty sure he's in it.
Ooh.
Cool. Which is what I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he plays the main character. That's what I saw in the trailer. And I think the story is that he's an artist and he becomes obsessed with the art and the urban legends of it, but it's more through the art perspective than the journalism. Right. Yeah. So, and that really intrigues me.
Already, yeah.
Yeah, and then it's about his transformation, because the Candyman's also an artist, and it turns into, again, this duplicity of, I think, him merging in to the Candyman's character and the obsession with his lore, and he has a girlfriend who this obsession starts to, and that intrigues me. I love movies about obsession. It's just I can just watch it over and over again with obsessed, crazy characters. It's just really interesting to me.
Right. Totally. Absolutely.
So, and I think that, and
I think we should definitely review the remake when it comes out.
Yeah,
sure.
And it's cool because it's like it's it's a black woman director.
Right.
That's that's awesome. That's awesome that a big horror movie like this with Jordan Peele's name on it, which is a big name now, with a big actor in it.
Yeah.
Like, this is awesome. It's a cool thing to see this happening in 2020.
Cool, I know that Jordan Peele's production company, which is like Monkey Paw.
Yeah.
Think,
great name. I love that name.
Great name. But I think that's what he's trying to do. I think he wants to produce these horror movies that are socially conscious, and Jordan Peele, he's the man. So, I'm super excited about it. I mean, any new horror movie, any new movie.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see, So, this was a cool movie, man.
It was. I was really glad
I watched Netflix. It's streaming on Netflix. If you're a horror fan, I highly suggest checking this out because it's a cult classic,
Yeah.
And there's like we were talking about, there's a lot of interesting discussion points in this horror movie, weirdly enough. So yeah, man, this is definitely Thicc and Butter approved.
Yeah,
I would say
Thicc and Butter approved. Sweet.
All right, man.
This gets a good stamp. What are we watching next week?
So.
Oh, this is kind of complicated too, because.
Well, I think we should. We're leaving next week.
Yeah.
We're gonna hang out, but I think we should just record it. Before we go. So.
Oh, that's a great idea. I can't believe I didn't actually think of that.
But so here's what I've been thinking. On this podcast, we talk about some classic movies. We talk about Call of Duty and Hellraiser.
Yeah, it's a classic.
And not too much though.
Halloween.
We're talking about Halloween. Yeah,
not a classic.
Fuck, dude, I think that was the second episode again. Halloween.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about. I also thinking about. It's the summer,
Yeah.
Summer blockbuster season, and we're not getting that this summer.
I think I know. I think I might know where this is going.
Probably. And there's no summer movies. And I was thinking about what are some of the best summer movies? Because growing up, that was one of my favorite things in the world. Is
summer movies.
Movies that just come out that are that are huge and everybody talks about it, everybody goes, and Mad Max Fury Road was probably was a summer movie that came out 2 years ago that
best summer movie ever.
Yeah, and so Spider-Man last year I thought was a great time. There's a lot of movies almost every summer that I have a good jazz about, and I love the summer.
Yeah,
and so I was just sad because it's not happening. So I was like, what should we talk about? What's a summer movie? And I think that we should talk about the summer blockbuster, which is Jaws.
Oh, yeah, baby!
I think we should,
the one with the Tyrannosaurus!
I think we should talk about Jaws, man.
Hell yeah. It's
Jaws
time.
Is one of my all-time favorite movies. Not just because I think it's a great movie, but I also it's nostalgia. I absolutely love. I grew up watching this movie, and I just would love to talk about it because it's fucking awesome. So let's talk about Jaws.
All right, I'm into it. Dude.
It's directed by a guy named Steven Spielberg.
Oh, dude, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna right after we're done with this, I'm gonna order the Blu-ray for it and watch the Blu-ray.
One of the best Blu-rays ever.
Really?
I'm not kidding. It was around, weird fact, but Jaws is it was around the time when that Blu-ray was released, it was around the time when Blu-ray was becoming a thing. And Spielberg took it like really seriously, and he hired these guys to restore the movie, which doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah.
So the transfer of Jaws is
like Criterion
it's
quality. It's like Criterion.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It looks like it's perfect. It's a great restoration. That's like the most nerdy thing I've ever said on this podcast.
But
what a restoration! Beautiful restoration on that on that Blu-ray.
I just want to shout out Blu-rays too, just in general, off of that point, because
I want to film in front of my Blu-rays. I'll figure it out. I'll figure out a way to do it.
But I made a big purchase recently that I have wanted to tell you about, but I keep forgetting.
Oh, wow.
But
tell me that,
me and my mom really like doing film festivals, and we did the Quentin Tarantino where we watched all of his movies, and we had a blast. It was awesome.
Yeah, man.
So I was thinking, what's a good film festival to do with my mom? What would be a good one? And I thought, I think Wes Anderson would be a good thing to do.
Totally, man. Totally.
So this is how cool my mom is and how crazy we both are. But we bought all of his movies on Criterion.
What, dude?
Yeah.
You're fucking kidding me. That's
so
awesome,
there's a couple of them. There's a couple of them that they didn't have. So I don't have Isle of Dogs on Criterion or Grand Budapest Hotel or the Royal Tenenbaums.
They need to put Isle of Dogs because that's like the only movie that they don't have because they just put Grand Budapest on there. Like literally, like
they'll probably put Isle of Dogs on there. They'll probably put it on there.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah.
But I have most of his movies on Criterion, which is cool, but awesome, very expensive, but cool.
Very expensive, but it's cool, man.
And the thing I'm realizing as I was looking through all this, if you want to get into film, a really easy way to educate yourself is actually watching the director's commentary and the special features that you find on these things. I have I'm very ashamed to say I have never watched one, and I'm going to make it happen. And I think that's one of the things where if talking about rewatching movies, if you don't want to just rewatch a movie, rewatch it with a director's commentary. It's
awesome. Super cool, man.
I'll report back when I actually watch it.
I love director's commentaries. Director's commentaries saved my life sometimes in school. I would do researching a movie, and this is a personal thing.
Yeah.
But I hated like citing some fucking Joe Snow about some movie.
Secondary source.
Why don't I go from the fucking guy who made the goddamn thing?
Sure,
And so I'm gonna get a whole 20-page thing on Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah.
And his commentary for Boogie Nights is amazing. It's incredible. It's super in depth, and he tells stories and why he did certain things, and it's just really entertaining as well.
Yeah.
A lot of these, I bet Wes Anderson is super entertaining.
He's such an interesting dude.
Some of those are. Because he is, if you see his movies, obviously, he is a funny-ass dude. He is hilarious. He's not funny in the way that, a traditional funny,
funny.
his movies.
Yeah.
He's super dry. And, the way that, when you hear him talk, especially for a long period of time, I listened to, I think a Fantastic Mr. Fox commentary. I think. It just makes me laugh because the way that he talks is like his dialogue in his movies. And it's just really cool to see something like that. And he usually does it with somebody else. So it's like a conversation.
Jason Schwartzman seems to be on there a lot.
Yeah. And those two talking to each other is it's like a scene from their movies. It's really weird.
Yeah.
And then it's weird because you hear about their process and how they write the movie, and that's what they do. Is they sit down and they basically just
talk at each other.
Talk to each other and write down the dialogue in character.
That's really, so cool.
It's really weird, man. But so it's pretty. You're gonna have a blast watching those.
Watch them with me, everybody.
He's brilliant and he's really funny. So
yeah,
I love I love Blu-rays, man. I love it.
I know.
Streaming doesn't give you that shit. They don't give you that, like, all that stuff. So,
and I sent you a text. The other thing about getting physical things that's beneficial, which this is only a problem once you start watching movies like a religious fucking freak, which is when movies have in streaming, when they have that random drop in resolution, it makes me want to kill something. It makes me want to break the TV, and you just have to wait it out because you can't let it like buffer or anything like that.
That's another thing. You have to have an incredible internet connection to watch some of these. Like, especially at some point, we're all gonna have like 4K TVs, you know?
Sure,
and, like, you know, like 4K streaming. Forget about it. I'm getting the 4K Blu-ray player. I don't trust my goddamn. You know, like no.
Yeah.
It's just not gonna. If I'm watching it on 4K, I'm putting the disc in. You know, I'm not trusting the damn internet. You know, to give me the full resolution. You know?
Also, it's cool.
Dude, I know.
It's cool. I like it.
Dude, I haven't bought a Blu-ray in a while. You might actually get me to buy some stuff right now.
I bought a Blu-ray. I bought a Blu-ray of my entire high school sinking into the sea.
Oh yeah, you posted about that movie.
Yeah, that's a cool movie.
Is that on Netflix?
Yeah, that's another Netflix little Netflix thing. I highly recommend watching that. It's just it's a really easy watch, and it's just very creative.
Yeah. Cool, dude. Cool. Hey. Yeah. Cool.
Cool, man. Cool shit. Cool shit over there.
So yeah, Blu-rays, Candyman, coronavirus.
Some other things. We went on a long tangent in the middle of our Candyman stuff. I don't even remember what that was about now.
I don't know. You know what the beauty of this is?
We can listen back and rediscover it.
Back to it.
Yeah. Full circle. Let's get out of here.
So let's get out of here. We've been talking a lot.
Yeah.
We don't want to bore these people. If you made it this far, subscribe. Like if you liked it. You don't have to. Don't feel obligated to like this video or like the podcast or anything. Subscribe.
Tell your mama.
Comment. Tell your mama. Tell your dad. Tell your sister.
Tell your grandpappy. Tell your cousin. Tell your second cousin.
Everything's in the description. Link to the audio portion, like I said in the beginning. You know, all that jazz. Episode 60. We're doing Defying Gloves up on the YouTube channel now. And we love you. Click and Butter podcast.
Nice.
Bye-bye.
Bye.